made sandwiches. So we ate sandwiches on the plane. So we were like
That's
this.
so good.
Yeah,
That's content.
yeah. 2 or 20 water. 2 or 20 water. This morning I woke up and I was so tired. I looked at the transactions. I was like, I've been hacked.
Welcome to The Vault with Financielle. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money and no topics are off limits. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
I felt like an assembly.
It did.
Good
We're in
morning,
unison,
Miss
chorus.
Whisker.
I've got a prop today.
Oh,
Prop.
Yeah. So, picture me. Just got off my train at Lime Street. It was so sunny this morning when I was waiting for the train. I was like, bliss, I'm going to take my jumper off. Got off the train, chucking it down. I was like, oh my God. Can't film a podcast with frizzy hair. So I bought this.
An umbrella.
Lovely looking umbrella.
This looks so swanky one. This isn't a grab and go at the newsagents. It's got buttons.
Would you like...
it's a snazzy one. Go gadget. Go gadget.
I have not had my tea yet. That really made me jump. For those people listening and not watching, she just pressed the button and it exploded.
That was very entertaining.
How much were we thinking I paid for this?
Well, like Laura said, it looks very swanky with the eject button that you've just demonstrated. That costs money.
$7.99 more, maybe $9.99.
What do you think?
I would hope for your sake, because it was a smash and grab, a £5, but I'm going to go over 10.
Lydia, any guesses?
I want to say like £5.
15 British pounds.
For an emergency umbrella.
And guess where it came from? My food budget. Because it's the first pot I have, and it's the easiest pot.
So you're not eating today.
Could
because you've got
have been
Umbrella.
some really good avocado or
Yeah.
some nice tuna.
Honestly.
What could you have spent 15 on? The thing is, you're going to get use out of it. So this is not like I bought a parasol or a sun hat. That would have
Live
been a
in
waste.
England, probably the rainiest city.
money per use is going to be.
Minus.
So but I leave them places. So
Well, I
this
was just
is-
about to say
Yeah, well, I
the
just
only
nearly left
caveat.
it in the coffee shop.
There you go. The only caveat is not leaving it.
Oh my gosh. So if you'd have left it in the coffee shop, it would have been £15 for 15 minutes.
Oh my
That's what it would have been.
And I also tipped
And then you'd
in
have
the
to
coffee
tip.
shop.
Can't get into that again, but I was thinking as soon as you said coffee shop, quick one, we can edit this out if you want, but Neil went to Amsterdam and he was, do you know, the like sushi counters where it's like self-serve?
At the airport?
At the airport.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. On the way home, a guy was in front of him and Neil was like, you literally just pick up the sushi and pick up the drink and then you self-serve the till. And the guy panicked. They came up with a, do you want a tip? And he said, I could see the guy being like, not sure. And there was not one employee around because it was all self-serve. There's nothing. There's nobody serving you. And the guy pressed tip and Neil was like, meh.
Self-induced stress.
Tipped
There was not
himself.
one person there.
He
Yeah.
did himself.
Do you get it back?
That's impressive revenue generator. Oh, do you know what we could do? What could we do to improve the margin? We'll make people tip.
There was
At
not
that
one
point, it's
employee.
just like, would you like to pay more?
Yeah. Do you want to pay
go
this
on.
or this price? Yeah.
That's basically
Right.
what he did because he didn't receive any engagement with anybody.
my
There was
God.
no staff.
To
It
be
was a
fair, I
self-serve
would tip for that.
situation.
I would rather have no.
Do you know what
Personal
Neil should have done? He should have put his hand on his shoulder and gone, mate, you don't need to.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't tip. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you need someone to tell you not to.
No one's going to judge
Instead,
you.
he laughed. He let him squirm.
That's funny. Okay, I'm going to say a controversial opinion. Money does buy happiness. Agree, yes or no?
Just gonna take
Agree. Do
I
you?
agree. I didn't want to be
Definitely
bougie
agree.
or
Yeah.
agree.
No.
No.
People that say
I
that
do.
usually have a lot of it.
Definitely. Yeah.
Don't they, really? Like, who? It's a place of privilege.
You hear
To say.
celebrities
Definitely.
and like billionaires when they're interviewed and they're like,
Yeah.
I'm not, I know many millionaires that aren't happy. I'm like, yes, but you don't have the worry about your house taken off you tomorrow or you not being able to feed your kids or whatever it might be. There's different levels of happiness and security.
Yeah, and I don't
Arguably
think they're
should be the
talking
thing that
about
brings you happiness.
the actual money.
Yes.
They're talking about everything that comes with it, like the fame and
Yeah.
probably like,
All the negative stuff,
Yeah.
which I imagine it does, and nobody's saying that.
yeah, of course.
But if you take two people in two very different situations and one is financially vulnerable and one isn't, if you were to give them money and they could be in a financially well situation, do you think their happiness would increase? Yes.
And listen, if you spend it, like, the earning more money is useless if you just spend more money generally. Like, you know, and you can spend though on things that do make you happier. But like, money gives you choice and options and
Freedom.
Yeah, freedom completely. And I feel like the happiness is probably maybe the wrong phrase, but yeah, just options, choice. And there was a study done, and I can't remember the figure. I think it was like something like once you earn over like £70,000 is like the optimum that you can earn, which is a really good quality of life. And this was years ago, so it's not been increased with inflation, but the study was what it would be now. And it was because it was, once you take into account average cost of living, average cost of houses, the idea that you might want to go on a holiday or two a year, that's like the minimum that you can earn, where actually I think that you don't get an incremental increase in happiness as you do with your salary. But it's still kind of, you've still got to think about being in a job. You might not like that job. You might be in a relationship you don't want to be in. You might get sick. Like, there's loads of different things. And so we're not sat here thinking everyone has to be a millionaire and you must make that happen. But don't kid yourself into thinking spending it all is going to make you happy either, because it's that balance between spending it on things or having money to be able to spend on nice things. Like for instance, I'm happier when I've had a blow dry. I'm happier. I'm a nicer person to be around. I have a lot of hair. And went away this weekend, and I had to, and I said to my husband, should I wash my hair? Now, Holly would have said no, because Holly can empathise with the time that it probably takes to do it. My husband was like, don't worry, I'll sort the kids, which he did.
I thought you were going to say, I'll wash your hair for you.
But he was like, don't worry, I'll watch. You've got time. I knew I didn't have time.
Yeah.
But I also had a busy work week, and I thought it should be really helpful to wash my hair today. Half an hour late for the start of the party, because we were away for a party. I finally walked downstairs hot and bothered.
And annoyed at your husband.
for making me take some time on my own.
Naive human.
But I mean, obviously there wasn't like a hairdresser there, but during the week at home, this is a really long way to explain it, isn't it? But it's done. I've paid for that.
I think
life
you're
admin.
Trying to get at life admin.
Yeah.
So money can help you pay for life admin things that weigh heavily on your brain, interfere with your day, take up time.
Yes.
Time.
It gives you time back. So again, it's bougie things, but a cleaner is really like the fact that we're a family of 5 and we've put room in our budget to pay for that. Now, when we were paying down debt or buying the house or renovating, we couldn't afford it. And so it was not something that we did, but actually making these small choices. Now, the balance is having the money and spending on things to bring these incremental pieces of joy whilst being in a bad financial situation isn't a good idea, because actually you're not happier because you're still worried about the thing. But yeah, I think it can buy happiness and bring us more happiness. And so you're not obsessed with money or a bad person for saying it, don't you think?
And it's not about buying things.
No, I like what you said about buying time.
Yeah. Remember that?
Or buying choice.
There's a community member that she'd done the Financielle playbook, and she'd worked through it, like really good, positive money journey from start to finish. And she said her biggest revelation she thought was going to be like a monetary figure, like, oh, with you guys, I've paid off 10 grand debt or whatever it might be and started a pension. She was like, I've actually reduced my working week to 4 days so I can spend it with my child. The 5th day, and she said, I didn't quite realise that embarking on this journey that I would get time back.
So the odd thing about that is she didn't get more money, she got less, but because she managed it better.
Yeah. She had more to
so
go. It went further.
Reorganising the money brought her happiness.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it can.
I like it. Okay. Dilemma time. My friends are jealous I'm investing. Hi guys. Over the past year, I've really been focusing heavily on my financial future. After having a relationship breakdown, I'm really trying to build strong foundations for my future self. I've started investing and have become much more disciplined about my spending, meaning I've had to cut back on socialising and some of the more spontaneous and often expensive plans with my friends. While I'm proud of the progress I'm making, my friends don't seem to understand. They've started making comments about how I'm no fun anymore, and have even hinted that I'm acting superior because of my newfound discipline. It hurts because I still value their friendship deeply, but I don't want to jeopardise my financial goals. I've tried explaining my reasons, but it doesn't seem to sink in. They think I'm just being stingy or boring. I'm caught between wanting to maintain my friendships and staying committed to my money plans. How can I deal with this situation without losing my friends or compromising my goals?
Oh,
Wow, what a dilemma.
I feel for her. I think it's a her. It's a journey, not a capital J and not a One Direction type of journey, but it's a journey like a health and fitness journey. And if you change a habit or change your behaviour, there's a few reasons why our friends may not be as supportive. Not understanding it is one. You know, if you've been on this content discovery machine, you've been listening to Financielle, you've been listening to The Vault, you
go down a rabbit hole.
You're in a community of people that talk about this, but your actual friend, like we forget how much we know and get used to this, and then it's really strange for someone else. So there's that angle. There's also jealousy sometimes as well. You know, like I've seen it in lots, especially in the health and fitness. If someone's like into the gym or like they might not drink for the weekend because
weight and they're like, you need to eat.
Yeah, why
You're
aren't you eating? You're not eating enough. Yeah,
like, that's not good for you. You know.
Yeah,
I feel like
it comes from their own shame.
Probably.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're obviously maybe not as good with money and can't quite see the benefits of what this person's doing. And
well, when someone... Sorry, Holly.
No, it's fine.
When someone makes a decision or is doing something that really deep down you've probably always wanted to be able to do yourself, it is that, to your point, Lydia, it is shame. And it can be, they've just highlighted something in us which could, one, make us look bad, because if you're making that decision and I'm not doing that, then, and everyone's commenting on you, or like, then am I doing something wrong? But yeah, it is deep rooted, isn't it?
Yeah.
That reminds me of this sign my nana has in her kitchen. It says,
"What, live, laugh, love."
No, it's better than that. It says, "Please God, if you can't make me thin, make my friends fat."
Yes.
It's kind of toxic, but
did she buy it herself?
I don't know. I need to ask her
Imagine
about
buying
it.
that as a gift.
Okay, we need to know.
it.
So that's a follow up.
I'll find out.
But it's
true, yeah.
That's the banter, isn't it? And you know, I always said, like, investing, she doesn't talk about the investing she is doing at the moment, but it's a very secretive world, or it can be quite intimidating. Like, what do you mean investing? Like, lots of us don't realize we're all investors. Just the fact that if we're paying into a pension via our employer or ourselves, if we're putting money into an ISA and it's a stocks and shares ISA, that's investing. So we're doing it. And, you know, even if she doesn't have deep stocks and shares chat with her friends, what she's having to do is she's having to use her disposable cash every month to deploy into her investments. And it's that bit that seems to be the more controversial thing, rather than I've got a new hobby or I'm really into this investing stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually the fact that she's spending less to be able to send money to those places. And I think on the flip side, I think balance is really important. You know, we've got friends and financial people who save too much. They go too hard. They get so obsessed with it that actually life is for living, and you can kind of look at their budget and they've probably got a bit of a problem the other way, the opposite of a spender, where there could be something from their past. They could have finally got money for the first time, like a squirrel and they're hoarding it all up. And the hope is that you don't then lapse and binge with the money and spend it. But for these kind of people, they don't. It is... You know, I've got a friend who passed away, and he was amazing with investing, really proper finance nerd. He was so wonderful, and passed away really young. And as he got older, he also lost his wife, and once his wife passed away again, both really, really young. He definitely lent into spending. He travelled a bit better. He got the car that he wanted. There was a few decisions that I think for a long time he had held back on, because he was so deep into the optimizing the finance and optimizing the investing. And I think that speaks volumes actually of what decisions we have to make this balance where possible. But to be the trailblazer in a group is always hard, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But I think you compare it to like a fitness journey. You know, we go to the gym together with a big group of people, and you see other friends going, oh, what are you all doing? Like they want to be in the club and
Yeah.
it's really good and everyone's so like welcoming and that's what this person will be experiencing with Financielle, and she'll be getting frustrated that it's just not a not understanding. If you're not in the same place about putting your money away or eating healthy or pulling back on drinking or whatever the thing is that you're embarking on your journey and no one else can understand, you're always going to have this struggle.
What should she do?
What would you do?
What would I do? I think, I mean, she sounds like she's got her money shit together.
Yeah.
So she must have like sinking funds.
Yeah.
That's what I'm envisioning if
Yeah.
she's investing. I definitely think the balance plays important. But she said after having a relationship breakdown, that's kind of like got her to the place where she's like, right, I need to like provide for my future self and like just get some protection. So I think her friends she should like maybe try and just like go that one step further and explain again. I know it's annoying to like have
The
to.
why.
The
Explain the
why,
why.
not just
Yeah.
like I'm not coming out because I'm saving. No, like my relationship broke down.
Yeah, and
I
maybe
was,
like we say all the time, like be the one who's open about finances. You
people
don't have to say
follow.
like figures and
No.
everything. Like, I just think that's an important thing, and it might spark someone else, and then you can all kind of like go on this journey together.
Yeah.
Like what you guys do with the gym. Like you can all talk about it and make
Yeah.
that
a
part of
thing.
the friendship
Yeah.
and stop the shame. Like,
And
let's not-
it might be that she say no to everything. So I think that, like you said, balance is key.
Yeah,
like start
definitely.
to say yes to a couple of things. Like you know how to run a budget, it sounds like. So just start to put a little bit away, and not because you are trying to please your friends, but for you. Like you need to bring
Definitely.
yourself joy. You can't lock yourself in a room and just be like, I'm just going to invest and save everything, because that's just not really like a long-term
of
way
course
of being.
Well, and listen, I think with the tone, bits of it is she doesn't want to do what they're doing. So be the person that suggests the thing that you would like to do. So if there's a trip you want to go on, a foodie place you want to go to, a park you want to go for a walk in, be the person that leads the, you know,
Plans.
the social
Alternative plans.
secretary. Yeah. I mean, Lisa would be glad that there's just no plans. So you'd say no
It's
anyway.
you. We say this every week.
I know, but I think you don't have to do, because when you're on a money journey and your friends suddenly say we're going to go out for this
like,
meal,
derail
you
it.
know it's going to be 150 quid.
yeah.
That's not a lot of money nowadays. Honestly, for people listening to this, I know you're empathizing with this, because if there's a particular type of restaurant, a particular type of night out that's going to happen, you know what that figure is, and you have to be comfortable that can be absorbed into a budget or saved up for and deployed without you feeling crap.
Yeah.
Because it can be a kick to the
We've all
kick
paid
into
in that
stomach.
restaurant when you're like, Jesus, that was not worth it. I would never do that again. Like you feel guilt and shame on yourself for going to a restaurant and spending that amount of money.
yeah.
And she obviously is just gone, I'm not feeling that way. She's protecting herself. I like this one. I think you're right.
And I think for the
addressing it with her friends.
spontaneous stuff, like we always say, for
have a little
spontaneous
bucket.
stuff, like have a spontaneous
Yeah.
sinking fund.
Yeah. And you don't have to say no to everything,
I
but
think
make
knowing
on
that
your terms.
It won't do, like this investing and growing wealth is for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had a member this morning in the chat talking about her anniversary and whether she should spend to celebrate their anniversary while she's on a debt-free journey. It could put back her debt-free time. And it won't, because 1 month in the rest of your life really won't. But if next month and the month after,
I
the month
hate
after.
gift buying anyway. I would be like, this is my bow out excuse to not go and find a shoddy gift for our anniversary.
Oh no, she's talking about a spa day. She said, yeah.
I don't like people touching me, so that that would be a no.
So paying someone to do that, will you?
I would pay someone not to touch me.
Yeah.
Like
That would, you'd be happy to not
that's
have
a
that.
new
I'll not
business
touch
hack.
you.
Alternative. I'll throw money. Alternative side day. No touching.
Just lie in a dark room with your face in a hole. That's it.
But the
dream.
practicality of it is, like, these one-offs aren't going to derail you and to stop your progress. If they become more than one-offs, they will. And ultimately, if you don't find value from them, you'll just torture yourself mentally. So say yes to the things that you want to do and don't be afraid of stopping them, or suggest the thing that you want to do. But more importantly, what you said, Lisa, like, talk to them about why you're doing it and why it's important. And sometimes even in a bit of a banter way, they might not realise that they're making you feel weird, or that you're
walking
doing
with a
something
pimp cane and a
stupid.
hat. Just take on this new like persona of like an investing queen. Own it.
Monopoly man.
Yeah.
No, I like that. Good
Good one.
advice.
Good one.
Okay, I think I've got up there top 3 favourite community wins.
Oh,
You say this every time.
must be a good one.
Okay, you ready? I've just paid off 5k on credit cards this morning. I now own my boobs.
Yes.
No, it's not me. There's no secret messaging in of this.
That is so cool.
I love
So
this.
Did you know that?
I need to know more though. Like, God, you've like
Can we have a
leaving me
follow-up?
hanging here. Yeah. Can you message him with more info, please?
Yeah, but that the aesthetic industry obviously is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. People, I've been through an Invisalign journey. Like people are having like cosmetic surgery or dentistry or all this stuff. That does cost a lot of money. And it's so easily financed. And it makes a lot of sense. It's really, when it comes to our appearance, it's a really hard thing for us to stand here and say you should do it debt free, but you should. So we will say that for anyone thinking about these kind of procedures, even if it's for your own self-esteem, it's the same thing with like fitness, like people that run out and go get a really expensive gym membership, they pay for a PT, they go get a Peloton,
All the equipment.
they get the equipment. Like, yes, your health is important. You don't have to pay that amount of money to sort it out. It has to be able to fit in your budget. It has to. Otherwise, we've not got a job. We're not meant to be here. So we have to say that. For those people that have already gone down the finance route for some of these products, must be a really weird thing. Like, I mean, this is credit card, but imagine if you'd stop paying them. Like, do they take your boobs back? Like, what?
Yeah.
And do you know what? Amazing that you shared that with us. That's I want that to inspire people because all these bits of finance, once they're paid off, it's so empowering, so invigorating.
You get people jumping from one thing to another, though. You want to I feel like that person that's done not going into finance again, because you'll always find the next thing. Once you've paid that one off, there's a risk that you've got that excess in your budget and you're like, okay, so now I'm going to get a new car, or now I'm going to get, and the whole thing with Financielle is you realise that excess is so precious and it can go to stuff that can grow, and that's where the magic happens, where you really start to turn that mindset around.
Yeah, the finance is a hamster wheel, so
Yeah.
you have to decide never to do it again. Otherwise, there's just kind of no point in paying the first one off because you're just
I keep
payments.
community members cutting up credit cards and taking a picture, and I just think there's such a statement in that. To physically cut up a credit card must make you lose. Have I given away your dilemma? No. You're like, to cut up a credit card just shows such like a line in the sand. Like you would find it hard mentally to go and get another one after doing such like a
It's
physical
like the ultimate form of friction. isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's stressful. It's like during the movies when there's a check, it's like, I don't need your money. And
then
you
they rip
rip
it
it up and you go, oh, what if I needed it?
I'm always like, can you stick it back together? Yeah. Will they accept it?
Take all the pieces.
Good one. I like that one.
My husband refuses to pay into my pension. Ladies, please help. I'm currently on maternity leave, which of course means I'm not earning my usual income and cannot contribute to my pension as I normally would. After listening to the podcast, I've asked my husband to help by paying into my pension during this period, but he's resistant to the idea. Instead, he insists that when we retire, he will share his pension with me. While I appreciate the offer, I'm worried about the long-term implications. Not contributing to my pension now could significantly impact my financial security in the future. I'm also concerned about the lack of independence it could create as I'd be relying on his pension. I've tried to explain my concerns to him, but he doesn't seem to understand why this is so important to me. It's causing tension between us and I don't want this issue to affect our relationship. How can I approach this situation in a way that helps him see from my perspective and find a solution that works for both of us?
This is where we're in trouble because this is our fault.
We caused this.
Yeah. And a bit clickbait with the dilemma. My husband refuses to pay into my pension. And I can imagine lots of husbands being like,
This goes on YouTube Shorts. You've got no chance to do. Good luck.
So for
Unhinged comments.
I think the context will explain it a little bit because she's absolutely right and he should. But let's go a bit wider. So the gender investment gap's massive. The gender pension gap's massive. I think I saw a stat recently. It's grown and it's now 36%, which is a higher stat than when I was doing some work a couple of weeks ago on it. Where when a woman retires in the UK, she's likely to have 36% less than a man in her pension, and she's statistically likely to live longer. And so why does that happen? Well, that happens usually because of the gender pay gap. So the gender pay gap is a gap between men and women for a few different reasons. One, that most people use the type of job that women typically do. And a lot of work is tried to be done to bring women into the higher paying industries such as STEM and the different tech roles and actually move up through management and stuff. Lots of women do take breaks in career when it comes to having children, which can kind of set you back in terms of earnings. And if you return, you might come back part-time, especially if you're the lower end in the family. And quite frankly, because there's a load of sexist bosses that do not promote women. And so I think that bit's can't be proven. But there's this general feeling that women aren't promoted. They're not promoted to the senior roles.
And even if
they're not CEOs.
they're not paid the equivalent of their man.
So all this, whilst there's a salary level to it, a percentage of our salary tends typically to be paid into our pension. So there's this massive gap because women earn less or are out of the workplace versus a man typically. And so if you have a heterosexual relationship, we've got a man and a woman, this is where this gap comes in. The added thing is, dependent on your employer, if you're on maternity leave, if you are not paid full pay, you may not be paying your bit into your pension because you're being paid less. Some employers top up, some don't, so you have to have a little look at it. But if you are not earning a full wage, then the percentage of your salary that's going in is less. And so there's this really weird phenomenon that for couples, and she says husbands, this is married couple we're talking about, during the years that the year that she's having off at the time, off with the baby, not like off having a laugh, there's less money going into her pension. And so what we try and support couples to do is to plan ahead as much as you can for this time. Even if money is tight, look at what the gap is and decide as a couple to spend the couple's money, the household money, not his money, but their money into the pension. And because by doing that, one, you are recognizing her value as that would typically be going in and she's having to have time off to look after the baby. And so let's put it in. But secondly, as a couple, you're growing your net worth. And so this idea that don't worry, I've got a pension, love, is absolute bullshit. And it needs to be stamped out.
That's true, because then it's not like he's saying, no, we'll top up your bit into mine and then we'll share it after. Actually, they're both at a loss effectively, because if she was topping hers up together, their net worth would increase and their assets would
100%.
Would be bigger.
He benefits from it.
And because they're missing out on the free money as well that she would get from the top up.
From the government top ups. Exactly. So the household suffers, but more importantly, like, we have to start representing the fact that it's important that a woman builds her own pension. And as a couple, you do well out of it. What also happens a lot later on is, one, like, banking on a pension is just really, really stressful. Firstly, if you're not married, you are not legally entitled to a partner's pension. And, we've seen scenarios where people are banking on that and then a separation happens or even a death happens. And if you're not married, literally not entitled to it. You can, and a big thing about pensions is you can nominate who it goes to. It doesn't have to be like your partner or your family. Like, you can literally write down. And so like your married partner. So it's on your expression of wish form and in your life insurance, but also in your pension. So have a little look at that. But relying on, what about the pension doesn't come to fruition? How do you even know it's in a reliable place? Like,
is it going to perform? Is it going to be worthless? Will you want to fight for half the pension when you don't know what's going to happen in your life as well? Because some people do walk away from it. They promised it and then they go, do you know what? I'm going to walk away because I want the house, or I want the holiday home, or I want this, that and the other. And then it doesn't actually turn into anything of much value and you kind of handed it over.
Well, you've been there on. So we've got two different mat leave stories where pre-Financielle, my husband and I elected to pay extra into my pension. I had a really poor maternity leave policy. It was worse with my second child than it was with my first. And it meant that less money was going into my pension. And so we worked out the difference. And like I said, very privileged that we were planning for the pregnancy. We'd saved up a lot of money for it. We prepared and paid it like a bill. And you can do that. You can literally set up, it doesn't have to be into your work one. You can set up in the UK, a self-invested personal pension. You can do it in other countries as well to your one of choice and pay it like a bill. Holly didn't do that. Now, I'd had that baby after you, but it wasn't thought.
On both maternity leaves as well. I think the biggest thing is like planning ahead, but obviously if you don't plan to have a baby, then you can't plan ahead. So that sometimes scuppered plans for planning
Extra
how you're
cash,
going to
yeah.
manage the finances, but you'll tend to know like far out because it takes 9 months to grow a baby plus. So you've got time to kind of think and plan, but wasn't even on my radar. Didn't even think about my pension, didn't think about things like childcare vouchers during that time. Sometimes employers will still contribute. So that's something that you need to go and look at. There'll still be like accruing in the background and you don't have to make any contributions. But if you've been claiming them all the time, then you can sometimes get those. You really need to go and speak to your HR person and ask them what's going on. When you're on maternity leave, what are the things I need to consider?
Yes.
Hopefully they'll be up to date. But yeah, your employees should be looking out for your financial wellness. And I think there's going to be a lot more done about this with employers and looking after people's financial wellness, especially that of women, because we're behind in so many areas. And you're the one that kind of takes the hit on maternity leave.
So have a chat to her about it. I think the big thing is it's like not can you pay into mine, but just like I will be earning less during maternity leave, and is the money for me to be able to do the things that you can do, like just making sure that time is really equal.
It's the language, isn't it? Because you said then, oh, I will be earning less. It's like we as a family will be shorter than other months. And our pensions, like you can start, if you reframe the language, it's not a you and me. You versus me. It's like us together will miss out financially if we don't do these things.
Yeah, and like just as a lot of stuff needs to be bought, we're going buying the buggy, we're going buying this, we're going buying that. There's lots of money being spent.
Yeah.
So even if it's tight, I guarantee you'll find it. This might not be a lot, but it's part of it is the fact that it's the financial impact. Part of it is the principle.
Yes.
The absolute principle that why should my investments take a hit because I'm the one on maternity leave.
Looking after our child.
Yeah. So
The language
passive
thing.
aggressive language is what you need.
Solves
Draw
everything.
circles. Our family. Our pensions. It works wonders.
And then we need a blow dry every week.
For our mental health, okay?
It probably only works so far.
We can try it. I'll come with you. I'll be your backup hype man. She needs it.
Okay. Any final words?
It's sunny outside, so you don't need your brolly anymore. Should we go return
Get my
it?
receipt.
You made money today.
I didn't even get my receipt.
You've made money.
Okay, that's all for this episode. The Vault is now closed. Just a quick disclaimer, The Vault is just a chat around life and money topics, and we are not giving financial advice.